Good morning, students. Today we are going to start the fourth lesson of the book Beehive of Class 9th English, A Truly Beautiful Mind. A Truly Beautiful Mind actually is a story about this famous person named Albert Einstein. So, who was he? Before we start, let us know something about this chapter. So this chapter is about Albert Einstein. He was a great scientist. We know that. And the title of the chapter, A Truly Beautiful Mind, refers to Albert Einstein. So this is a short biography of his where some of his qualities have been highlighted. Albert Einstein's interest in mathematics and physics and also his humanitarian attribute. So he was a mathematician, he was a physicist, and he was also a humanitarian. The title, A Truly Beautiful Mind, makes one wonder how can a scientist's mind be beautiful. It is so because in this lesson we come across another aspect of Einstein. He was a humanitarian. He advocated world peace, non-violence, and that is why the title refers to him as a truly beautiful mind. So this was about this man. So let us know a little bit about this man from the book. So what does the book say? So let's get into it. So whenever we are talking about Albert Einstein, we are actually talking about a genius. The genius the world has ever produced. So Albert Einstein was born on 14th of March 1879 in the German city of Ulm. So in this German city in Germany, in the city of Ulm, he was born without any indication that he was destined for greatness. On the contrary, his mother Albert was a freak. So his mother thought Albert was a freak. So there was no indication in the childhood that this man would be a genius. Now whenever we talk about genius, we know one thing. Keep this in mind always, that whenever you are talking about somebody called genius, then the upbringing of that person is very different. Albert Einstein was no exception. But Albert Einstein actually was a born genius who was much more focused on the scientific invention and the scientific world that he lived. Whenever you will read some information about his childhood, you will get to know that his actions were such that actually led somebody to believe that this is not a normal person. Actually, Albert Einstein cannot mix with normal people normally. His brain moves faster than anybody else. And that is why he does not find any companion actually. There was actually nobody who could assist Einstein. The surrounding world at the childhood seemed to be him like a stupid, and his mind was a free mind. So this is why her mother thought that Albert was a freak, means he was a mad. To her, his head seemed too much large. So this head seemed too much large shows that a great scientist is about to born. At the age of 2.5, Einstein still wasn't talking. So when he finally did learn to speak, he uttered everything twice. So Albert Einstein did not seem to speak till the age of 2.5. And whenever he started to speak, he uttered everything twice. So there is one very, very interesting incident by this person which shows that how Einstein's genius was. Let's see. Yes. Otto Neubauer, a historian of ancient mathematics, told a story about the boy Einstein that is characteristics as a legend, but that seems fairly authentic. So, as he was a late talker, his parents were worried. Definitely, if the child is not speaking since 2.5 years, so parents will definitely be worried. So at last, at the supper table one night, he broke his silence to say, "The soup is too hot." Greatly relieved, his parents asked that why had he never said a word before. Albert replied, "Because up to now everything was in order." And that is what a genius mind is. So this is how the genius thinks actually. So we see that Albert didn't fail to speak till the age of 2.5 just because everything in the house was prim, proper and perfect. And this is what his upbringing is. I told you that each and every scientist is great because of his upbringing. His parents were too much perfect, and because of this perfection, Albert Einstein also learned the art of perfection, which is the base of a great genius mind. You must be perfectionist first. And as I told you that if you are a genius, then you cannot find any friends. So Einstein did not know what to do with other children, and his playmates called him brother boring. Definitely, if you don't mix with other people, you will be a boring sort of person. So the youngster played by himself. So Albert Einstein always played by himself much of the time. He especially loved mechanical toys. So the mechanical toys, the robotical toys, so he liked those toys only. So looking at his newborn sister Maja, he said to have said, "Fine, but where are his wheels? Where are her wheels?" So when a newborn sister was also born, he told that where is his wheels? So a sister should also have a wheel. A headmaster once told his father that what Einstein chose as a profession wouldn't matter. So this is what some of the peculiarities of Einstein was. Einstein was not a normal human being. His mind was so delved in the thought of the scientific inventions that even his newborn sister seemed to him imperfect. So because of this behavior, headmaster also told that he will not do anything. He can't do anything because he will never make a success at anything. And he actually didn't like the school's discipline actually. So Einstein began learning to play the violin at the age of 6 because his mother wanted him to. So his mother forced him to learn this violin because she thought that it would perhaps divert her mind. And he later became a gifted amateur violinist, maintaining his skill throughout his life. So later on we saw that Albert Einstein used to play the violin throughout his life. So was he a bad pupil? Was he really a bad student, Albert Einstein? So whenever we talk about Einstein, we thought that this man, whose head was actually too big at once upon a time, this man thought differently, and that is why he didn't like schooling. So such was his gifted genius that he went to high school in Munich, where Einstein's family had moved when he was 15 months old and scored good marks in almost every subject. Einstein hated the school's regimentation and often clashed with teachers. At the age of 15, Einstein felt so stifled there that he left the school for good. And this is what it is true about him, that when he was since his junior ages, he didn't like the school because there were so much strict rules and regulations in the school itself. But he scored good marks in almost every subject. Definitely a genius would do that. So Einstein hated the school's regimentation and often clashed with teachers. So at the age of 15, Einstein felt so stifled there that he left the school for no good. So he left the school. The previous year, Albert's parents had moved to Milan and left their son with relatives. After prolonged discussion, Einstein got his wish to continue his education in German-speaking Switzerland, in a city which was more liberal than Munich. So because his parents had moved to Milan, so he left their son with the relatives, and Einstein finally got his opportunity to read in Switzerland. So Switzerland was actually German speaking, and still now the main language of Switzerland is German. So Switzerland's education is known all over the world, and for the liberal type of education, for the advancement of education. So this city was much more liberal than Munich, and this actually fitted the genius Einstein. Einstein was highly gifted in mathematics and interested in physics. After finishing his school, he decided to study at the University of Zurich. So after finishing school, he got his opportunity to study at the University of Zurich, which is a very, very famous university in the world. But science wasn't the only thing that appealed to the dashing young man with wordless moustache. So what does this wordless moustache mean? Wordless moustache is this type of moustache. So this type of moustache is called wordless type of moustache. Okay. So he studied at Switzerland actually. So this man studied at Switzerland, and this is where a change of his life would occur. Now what type of change? He also felt a special interest in a fellow student, Mileva Mariek, whom he found to be a clever creature. So Mileva Mariek, whom Einstein would marry, was a kind of genius, similar type of genius that Einstein thought to be. This young sir had come to Switzerland because the university in Zurich was one of the few in Europe where women could get degrees. So he was from Siberia. She was from Siberia. This woman was from Siberia, so in Russia now. So a Russian woman coming to Switzerland to study in the University of Zurich just because the women were allowed to get degrees. And Einstein saw in her an ally against the Philistines. So he was a friend. So she was an ally, means she was an associate because they were against the Philistines. Philistines means those who don't like art, literature or music. So he also saw that similarity in her. Those pupil and his family at the university with whom he was constantly at odds. So he was very, very different from the people who were artistic, who were literature, and she was against them. She didn't like them. So he was a typical sort of man. And the couple fell in love. Letters survive in which they put their affection into words, mixing science with tenderness, wrote Einstein. How happy and proud I shall be when we both have brought our work on relativity to a victorious conclusion. Now what does this suggest? Mileva Mariek definitely was a brilliant girl. And that's why Einstein saw a similarity. Einstein fell in love. This girl was a little bit senior. But the problem with this girl was, and the problem with this mind was, there was no love. There was perhaps a togetherness. They can be very good friends. But that doesn't mean anyway that they can be husband and wife, because husband and wife requires different sort of relationship. They both need to devote their time towards maintaining a family. Einstein also had to contribute, Mileva also has to contribute. Both of them need to contribute in also love relationship also. So if science is coming in between the love, then definitely this relationship will not exist. And this happened also. Let's see what happened. So in 1900, at the age of 21, Albert Einstein was a university graduate and unemployed. He worked as a teaching assistant, gave private lessons, and finally secured a job in 1902 as a technical expert in the patent office in Bern. So he joined as a technical expert in the patent office, means which gives the rights of an invention to an inventor. So this is the office where the researchers needs to come, and this is where his psychological development of research mind actually flourished. So while he was supposed to be assessing other people's inventions, Einstein was actually developing his own ideas in secret, and this is where he learned. He was learning. He was not only working, he was learning. Einstein was actually developing his own ideas in secret. He is said to have jokingly called his desk drawer the Bureau of Theoretical Physics. So his desk, the table where he used to sit, he used to call it jokingly the Bureau of Theoretical Physics, because all the theories used to be accumulated there. And this is where the very, very world famous theory of relativity, for which Einstein is known all over the world, came. One of the famous papers of 1905 was Einstein's special theory of relativity, according to which time and distance are not absolute. Indeed, two perfectly accurate clocks will not continue to show the same time if they come together again after a journey if one of them has been moving very fast relative to the other. From this followed the world's most famous formula, which describes the relationship between mass and energy, E equal to mc square. In the scientific world, those who even forget science, few people remember a few scientists. One of them definitely is Archimedes principle. One of them definitely is Archimedes principle. Secondly is Newton's three laws, and third is Einstein's famous theory of relativity. So this is the Einstein's famous theory of relativity. E equal to mc square. In this mathematical equation, E stands for energy, m for mass, and c for the speed of light in a vacuum, about 3 lakh kilometers per second. So how does Einstein define relativity? Einstein says, when you sit with a nice girl for 2 hours, it seems like 2 minutes. And when you sit on a hot stove for 2 minutes, it seems like 2 hours. That relativity. So this is how Einstein jokingly defined that. So Einstein's private life was not successful actually. So while Einstein was solving the most difficult problems in physics, his private life was unraveling. Albert wanted to marry Mileva right after finishing his studies, but his mother was against it. She thought Mileva, who was 3 years older than her son, was too old for him. She was also bothered by Mileva's intelligence. She is a book like you, his mother said. Einstein put the wedding off. So her mother did not approve of marrying this girl, Mileva, and the pair finally married in January 1903 and had 2 sons. But a few years later, the marriage faltered. Mileva, meanwhile, was losing her intellectual ambition and becoming an unhappy housewife. So she was not developing intellectually. After years of constant fighting, the couple finally divorced in 1919. Einstein married his cousin Elsa the same year. So in the same year, because this marriage does not last, so Einstein married his cousin only. So despite having a family, just because Einstein's brain was different and Mileva was also losing her intellectual capabilities, so this marriage definitely wouldn't last. Love is very different. Love is not intellectuality, after all. So Einstein's new personal chapter, coincided with his rise to the world fame. Gradually he became famous in the world. In 1915, he has published his general theory of relativity, which provided a new interpretation of gravity. An eclipse of the sun in 1919 brought proof that it was accurate. The general theory of relativity was accurate actually. Einstein had correctly calculated in advance the extent of which the light from fixed stars would be deflected through the sun's gravitational field. The newspaper proclaimed his work as a scientific revolution. So his theories became famous, and it was perfectly correct. And this is why Einstein received the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1921. He also showered with the honors and invitations from all over the world and lauded by press. So gradually, when the Nazis came to power in Germany in 1933, Einstein immigrated to the United States of America. 5 years later, the discovery of nuclear fission in Berlin had American physicists in an uproar, and many of them had fled from the fascism just as Einstein had, and now were afraid that the Nazis could build and use an atomic bomb. Einstein's theory of nuclear fission was also there. But this theory led to the development of atom bomb, which would kill millions, something what Einstein didn't want. Science is not for killing people, science is for benefiting people, but Nazis didn't, but somebody else, it was not in the ruler's hand. Sorry, it was not in the scientist's hand. It was everything in the ruler's hand. If the ruler decides to kill, they will kill. So the atom bomb concept somehow came from Einstein. At the urging of a colleague, Einstein wrote a letter to American President Franklin D. Roosevelt on 2nd August 1939, in which he had warned a single bomb of this type explode in a port might very well destroy the whole port together with some of the surrounding territory. So this letter was not supposed to be written. This letter was a warning, but this letter took as an opportunity. I said the rulers took this letter as an opportunity. His word did not fail to have an effect. The Americans developed the atom bomb in a secret project of their own, taking the theory of Einstein's and dropped it in one of the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945, and the impact of it we know very well. Einstein did not want that. His theory led to wrong hands, and this is where science is boon for. Science is not a boon, actually a bane. So Einstein was deeply shaken by the extent of the destruction, and this happened. This time he wrote a public missive to the United Nations. In it he proposed the formation of a world government. So he decided that let's propose a form of world government. Unlike the letter to Roosevelt, this one made no impact. But over the next decade, Einstein got more involved in politics. Agitation for an end to arms build-up and using his popularity to campaign for peace and democracy. Einstein realized that he need to take part in the politics gradually. So when Einstein died in 1955 at the age of 76, he was celebrated as a visionary and world citizen as much as a scientific genius. So this was all about the text. Now let us quickly move to the summary. Okay. So let's read the summary now. Albert Einstein was born on 14th of March in 1879 in the German city of Ulm. Till the age of 2.5 years, he could not speak, and when he started speaking, he spoke every word twice. His playmates considered him to be boring, and his mother thought that he was crazy because of the abnormally large size of his head. At school, his headmaster regarded him as stupid and good for nothing, but he proved them all wrong. At the age of 6, at the insistence of his mother, he learned to play the violin. He became a gifted violinist, and at the age of 15, his family moved to Munich. He did not feel comfortable with the strict discipline at the school and left it. On completing his schooling, he joined the university at Zurich because the atmosphere there was more liberal and accepted new ideas and concepts. He showed more interest in physics and mathematics. He met a fellow student, Mileva Mariak, at the university. She was equally intelligent and clever. Later on, they married and had 2 sons, but unfortunately, their marriage did not survive and were divorced in 1919. After completing his education, Albert worked as a technical expert in the patent office at Bern. Here he worked secretly on his idea of relativity. In 1915, he published his paper on the special theory of relativity, followed by the world-famous equation E equal to mc square. In 1915, he published his paper on general theory of relativity, which gave an absolutely new definition to the concept of gravity. This theory made him a famous figure. In 1919, during the solar eclipse, his theory came to be accurate and revolutionized physics. In 1933, he emigrated to the USA as Nazis had come to power in Germany. He did not want his finding and research to be used for destruction. So in 1938, when Germany discovered the principle of nuclear fission, he was the first person to write to the American president about the dangers of the atomic bombs. In 1945, when America dropped the atomic bombs on Nagasaki and Hiroshima, he was deeply hurt and wrote to the United Nations for the formation of a world government to prevent the recurrence of such destruction. He spent his later days in politics advocating world peace and democracy. He died at the age of 76 in the year 1955. So this was all about this very intelligent man, the gifted man that the world has ever produced. Albert Einstein, the genius, the scientific genius that world has ever produced. Unfortunately, his theory was taken differently, the theory of nuclear fission, and killed millions of people, but he didn't want that. We should always remember, not for the invention of the atomic bomb, not for keeping his ideas on atomic bomb, which he never wanted to be, but we should remember this man Albert Einstein for his contributions in the physics and for advocating the world peace gradually. What he conceptualized years ago eventually formed, and we saw that all were true. This is what a truly beautiful mind was. Perhaps his family life was not good. Perhaps he was a brother boring. But whatever he gifted to the world, he gave it, and we are using that, and this is why we should be grateful of this beautiful mind in reality. Okay, so this was all about this brilliant man called Albert Einstein. So let us end our lesson here. Thank you, students.